Hello, this is Albert. I'm going to show you today how I produce episode of my daily podcast, Berlin Briefing. We have a master template here in Content Manager that has most of the files already in there that I need every day. So I'm going to load that into MultiTrackEditor. And I also have a raw file that is the recording for today that has basically that needs to be produced. So I'm going to put that into MultiTrack as well. And now it is there. So what I do, and that is my workflow specific for Berlin Briefing, I will now find the good parts of this file. So what I do is I start at the beginning of the file, and I'm just going to use shortcuts here, and I will basically cut out the good parts of the file. So I'm going to listen.
Good morning. This is Abby with your daily Berlin briefing for Thursday, February 6th.
So the important thing that I can work efficiently is that I have in points and out points and speed and creation of clips. I have everything on a shortcut. So when I start playing the file, I don't actually touch the mouse. So when I start working now,
Good morning.
Let's make a point.
This is Abby with your daily Berlin briefing for Thursday.
Also speed up.
the play out a bit. So because I usually know what I can hear. And now I already have my first clip, which I call Hi, which is the introduction, which is always the same. So now I can go to the stories. So I'm going to play.
Set my in point.
Before a meeting of financial...
Now I go faster.
Pressure is increasing to change the controversial mandatory receipt law. There's criticism, especially from the business community and the retail trade, of the requirement to hand out a receipt to every customer, even for very small amounts.
And then I'll set an out point. This seems to be good. I'll set an out point here. If I want to, I can go a little bit faster, up to 3 times. Now I can see some errors here.
Above all, the finance ministers and talk...
Okay, there's an error here.
Above all.
Okay, above all. So the stuff that I selected is already good. So I have a shortcut for creating a new clip. Boom. My new clip is story 1 and take A. Okay, and I have a new clip and I can continue.
Above all, the finance
ministers and tax authorities, however, still want to adhere to them.
Okay, there's a mistake here. So I'm just going to check here where she starts again.
Tobias Cost.
Okay, Tobias Cast. Okay. So let's see.
As most receipts are
Okay, that's too fast. Let's go.
also referred to a disposal problem. Tobias Quast.
There's Tobias Quast. Okay. So I know this is my second take. So this is take 1B. And I can go here to the
Tobias
next item. So I have also a shortcut to jump between markers.
Tobias.
Here's Tobias Quast. So this
Tobias.
is my third part.
Tobias
of the take.
Cost.
Speaker for Waste and Resource Policy said that the strong increase...
Okay, so now, good. This is 1C. So my first story is done. Next story.
The fear of the coronavirus
virus is dominating the world's largest fruit and vegetable farm.
Let's speed up again. Usually I use 2 times speed, but I know this story.
Okay, that is a cut. So maybe I can set the out point, fine-tune the out point a little bit. And this is my story 2. Hey, okay, and
Recording.
next.
according to
Okay,
a 1940
okay. Let's go back. It's here.
according to fruit
No.
according
This is
to
good.
Fruit Loops, door handles and escalators are to be cleaned more frequently.
Okay, so third story, second story is done. Now I skip over the third story just because you get the gist. So I'm gonna do the fourth story and the out point here's the fourth story.
There's a
Okay. So
there's a dispute about
I haven't used the mouse a single time, as you can notice.
okay, so this is my third story. And then
to stay updated.
there's the outro. And we can go to the end.
Be back tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Okay, and outro. So now I have everything ready to produce my show. So now I'm going into the multi-track view. And since I had the template loaded already, my intro is already in there. I usually don't use the loudness track, so I removed that. And now I can start producing. So what I do here is basically I listen and see if,
Good morning.
okay, this sounds good. Sometimes if I have a little bit of noise in the beginning, I do a little fade in. And I can go to the next point and I go to the next marker. The next marker macro is also very good to have to go to the next item that is of interest.
2020
So this is a little bit too early. So let's move this a bit to the end.
for Thursday.
Now I'm using the mouse a little more.
2020.
This is good. And now for the next story, I select all three of them and then
Immediately
I can go, the fade over is good. So now I have the crossover here between the second and the first take.
the obligation to issue receipts. Above all,
This is a little bit weird. So what I can do now, for example, is I can do a little bit of a crossfade, for example. So I can say, okay, I use the shift key and do a little automatic crossfade in the tracks between here.
to issue receipts. Above all,
So it's sounds a little bit better. Usually I take a little bit more time, but yeah. Now here I fix this. Maybe I do also a little bit of an auto crossfade with the shift key and
referred to a disposal problem. Tobias Cobb
okay, this sounds really good. Next item, I go to the end. Boom, put in my
They are then incinerated.
good. And my next story
The fear of the
sounds good.
Charlottenburg-Wilmersdorf district. According
Sounds good. So often I don't have to do anything, but sometimes, to make it sound a bit more smooth, I do the crossfades.
door handles and escalators are to be cleaned more
Or I go a little
frequently.
bit in and out, but it's okay.
There's a
Okay, and now I have basically the last end of the
Soon be
story to wrap
rescheduled.
it up. I do my outro
to stay.
and the actual outro because I have an outro sound as well.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, and I'm done. I'm done produce. So all I need to do now is going into Database Manager to save there. So save. And I want to put this into the Berlin briefing table. Now I need to I can do maybe the date of today. Today is the 6th of February 2020, and my stories are about now that's the thing I sometimes forget about because I'm so into the producing, but I think we had about a fruit market, we had about I forgot, but here I usually do a couple of hashtags that I use in the title, like fruit market, news, local politics, or something like this. And sometimes I also do a bit more information in the comments. Then I save it back to Content Manager. And now all I need to do basically is I can go back to Content Manager. I can select my title and I publish it to the podcast, and then I'm done. Thanks for listening.